All right, well, I want to welcome everybody who has joined us tonight. We're calling this Technology Tuesday. It was supposed to have been Technology Thursday last week, but unfortunately, Google has started blocking all my emails, and I couldn't figure it out, and now we have finally figured it out, and the answer is I have to use a different email server. So I'm going to be shifting to a server called MailChimp. So you may be each getting an email from me requesting you to opt in. So if you want to continue to get emails, many of us have been involved in networks for a long time, not just air. And so I'm now blocked from sending emails about any of them. So I'm having to restructure everything. So I'm going through a technology change. So you just got to bear with me while we do it. So anyway, but tonight I'm going to talk about what probably my most favorite product, the most versatile product, and the flagship product in our whole pureAir line, and that is our pureAir 3000. This technology I've been associated with now since 2006. I've been able to watch the advancement of it, been able to watch this product evolve over the years, and right now I can tell you, for someone that's been in this business for 24 years, this pureAir 3000 is the #1 product in the electronic air purification industry, regardless of the company. Because trust me, I'm well versed in this industry. So what we're going to talk about tonight is a little bit about the technology. Hopefully, if you have not already watched the first video, which is just basically the setup and usage of the pureAir 3000, and it's just a little short video that walks a brand new customer of how to start using their pureAir 3000. So I'm not going to talk a lot about that tonight in the technology. What we're going to talk about is how you maintain your pureAir 3000. So if you're going to represent the pureAir 3000, first and foremost, there's 4 things that you'll need. #1 is you'll need a pureAir 3000. You need one of your own. You need it running in your home. This is the centerpiece for any home, you know, other than like a 1-bedroom apartment. Even if you're in a 3-bedroom, say, condominium, the pureAir 3000 is the centerpiece of a whole home system. And then as we have other products that you would add as peripherals to this, and the one that just about all of you that are on the call tonight are now testing, and that will be our pureAir Restore. So this is your centerpiece, and then there'll be peripherals that'll be added. So I said there's 4 things you needed. #1, obviously, is the pureAir 3000. And then we have 3 support pieces. So if I have not sent these to you, what you want to do whenever the call is over, email me and say, Dwayne, I'd like to get the 3 support pieces. And these are PDFs. The first is a little tube, and if you have a 2-sided printer, you can print it on 2 sides. If not, you print it as 2 sheets. And it's our little pureAir 3000 Leave Behind brochure. So this is something when you talk to someone, or you could carry these with you in your car. I keep these in my little folio. I keep my little IMAS cards. So if I happen to talk to someone, I can grab one of these and just leave it with them. And it's just a little tech spec sheet to tell someone about the pureAir 3000. Now next is what's called the pureAir 3000 Content Library. This is an excellent, it's a little 4-page or 2 pages double-sided, and it's literally everything that you need to know about the pureAir 3000. It covers everything: product name, tagline, features, benefits, consumer description. These are all the kind of buzzwords that you're going to want to learn and have in your vocabulary when you're talking about the pureAir 3000. And obviously, it also gives you a lot of the technical aspects of it too. So it just covers everything that you need to know about the pureAir 3000, how it works, its effectiveness, and the technology. And then the final piece, and this is for someone that wants to represent our product line, and it's simply questions and answers. So it gives you just about every question someone can ask you about the pureAir 3000, and it gives you the answers to it. Not that you would go over the whole thing with everyone, but over time, you're going to just, and trust me, as someone that's been involved with this technology for 24 years, as I read through this, I realized, you know what? It's always the same questions people ask. So this gives you the answers to all of those. So anyway, of course, the simplest approach is when someone asks you how it works, I go, very well. It works extremely well. Well, how do you use it? Well, you plug it in, you push that button right there. Now, that's the simple answers to questions people ask. So anyway, we're going to get right into this. I'm going to keep this to 30 minutes. You know, we have gone over on some of our calls, but my goal is to keep these calls to 30 minutes or less. And what we're going to talk about is how someone keeps their pureAir 3000 running in optimum shape. If you want to be in optimum shape, then obviously you would be drinking adequate amounts of water, you'd be eating properly, exercising properly, and all 4 aspects of a proper lifestyle. Well, this has a lifestyle to it, and there's things that you have to do to keep this as a very healthy lifestyle. So, rule 1, before you do anything to your pureAir 3000, rule 1 is you turn it off. Rule 2, before you do any cleaning or maintenance on your pureAir 3000, you unplug it from the back. You turn it off first, then you unplug it. And there's reasons why you do it in that order that I'm not going to go into all of those, but that's the first 2 rules before you do any maintenance on your pureAir 3000. First turn it off, then unplug it. Now, there are only 3 screws that you have to deal with to get in and do the maintenance on the pureAir 3000. Now, right here on the back, and I've already taken this screw out just for time's sake, but right above where you plug it in, there's one little tiny Phillips head screw that you simply take off, and that allows you to remove the back. Now, do you necessarily have to put that screw back in? I didn't. You don't necessarily have to unless you're using this and transporting it a lot. Maybe you bought an extra one that you're using for remediation purposes. People are calling you, you're going to people's houses and remediating mold and odors. That's one of the revenue streams that this product can create for you in this business. In that case, you would want to keep that screw intact because it builds security into the back of the unit. But if you're just using it like I do in your home, you know, when I get through tonight, I'm going to move it right back on top of the china cabinet, and it won't be touched again until the next time that I clean it. It's not necessary you do that. All right, so once you remove that screw, removing the back is very, very simple. You simply reach down here at the bottom, right at the bottom, you squeeze in. There's just 2 little clips at the bottom. You squeeze and pull out. That's all you do. And when you do, you're going to notice right here at the top, there are 2 little plastic tabs, and those just simply insert right back into the hose. You pop that bottom back in, and that's how you put the back on. Now, what you'll find is this is the first thing that aggregated particulate hits as it's coming through this machine. So you'll have dust build up, and that dust also will pick up oils out of the air, oil esters. And so you'll find some of these, depending on, in our house, since it's right near the kitchen, we get a lot of cooking goes on in here. And this will feel a little oily. So let's talk about the tools you'll need to maintain your pureAir 3000. And the thing I recommend, this is called Orange Champ. If you can see that, it's called Orange Champ. We get it at Lowe's. So hopefully you have a Lowe's in your area. I recommend it. I used to use Grease Lightning. Grease Lightning is just very, very toxic. It has a lot of chemicals in it. It's harsh on your hands, and you can't use it on the aluminum of the framework of the product. So Orange Champ I found to be very, very effective. It cuts through the grease. It doesn't have any odor. And I have used it without gloves. I recommend you use gloves with any chemicals, but I have used it without gloves just to see how it affected my hands, and it no effect at all. So Orange Champ is what we're now recommending exclusively for maintaining our units. And so all you do is simply spray both sides, and in 90% of the cases, you can just rinse this under the water, and that Orange Champ just melts all of that crud off. But in case it doesn't, just a simple, I've found this at Lowe's. It's been perfect. It has moderate large bristles for the brush, and then it has stiffer bristles that I use on a harder to clean. I'll show you that in a minute. But I spray it, I just scrub it down very quickly, I rinse that off, and I set it aside to dry. Now, here's our first technology right here, and this is our electrostatic filtration. It's not a HEPA filter. HEPA filters, they're very effective for removing small particulate from air that goes through them, but the problem is they are such a tight mesh, you should not use a HEPA filter on your air conditioner. Why? Because it builds up so much pressure because it limits airflow. You build up head pressure on your compressor, and I'll just guarantee you get you a Honeywell 3M HEPA filter and put it in your air conditioner, you will shorten the life of your compressor. So we use an electrostatic filtration system. It's very effective, and to get into it, you'll have two little thumb screws on both sides, very simple to remove. I've already loosened these up and taken one out just for time's sake. And when you take these out, if they're a little tight, they do have a Phillips head on them, so you can use a Phillips screwdriver just to loosen it up. That's about the size Phillips screwdriver that you need. And because I do a lot of service work on units, I also have a little battery-operated automatic screwdriver. Just makes it a lot quicker and easier for taking, you know, if you're servicing 2, 3, 4 of these at a time, this just makes it a lot quicker. But you may just be servicing your own, so it's not as critical. All right, so you just take the two little thumb screws out, and that's it. And then this filter just lays back and lifts out. There's two little slots to make sure when you put it back on, you put it in the proper place. And then you see that little groove right there. It has a little flush mount so that you just can't put it in the wrong place. And it just goes back on. So now for cleaning, let me explain the filter to you. This filter is a 3-piece filter. It has little hooks on it. You just push and lift that little plastic cover off just like that. And then the 3-piece filter has the tight mesh electrostatic filter. That's this part here. How do you clean it? Very simple. I just spray it with the Orange Champ, both sides, rinse it off in the water, cold water. It's all you need. That's all it takes. You set that aside, you let it dry. Now the next, and all of this is charcoal impregnated. The purpose, what does the charcoal impregnation do? It absorbs VOCs. It helps remove volatile organic compounds from the air. This charges the air that goes through. That helps remember, the biggest problem with indoor air is particulate. When you close up your door, almost everything indoors loses its negative charge, and it has to do with how we heat and cool our indoor environments. So everything in here is positively charged. That's why dust stays suspended in the air. Trust me, in your home right now, unless you have ionizing technology running, there's a dead skin cell somewhere up in the corner of your house of virtually everybody that's ever passed through there. And that particulate, because it's so microscopic, stays suspended in the air, and 90% of household dust is your dead skin and the dead skin of everybody that's ever been in there. A good way to show this to yourself, turn off the lights in your house, get a bright flashlight, have someone hold it on your arm, and then just move your hand real quick across your arm like that. And you will create a cloud of dust, your dead skin. Let me tell you something else. in your bed. People go, they love this one. Your mattress and your pillow. If you have a pillow that's over 4 years old, as much as 40% of the weight of that pillow is your dead skin, dust mites, and dust mite fecal matter. That's right, folks. When you lay your head down on your pillow, you're laying it down on a little dust mite toilet. Oh my goodness. Dwayne, what are you talking about? Once again, and it's amazing when you tell people to do this and what they come back, because they don't believe you at first. I'd say go in your bedroom, pull those covers back, turn off the lights. I challenge all of you to do this tonight. Set a flashlight on that bed, put your head down there, and smack that mattress, and look what comes up. What that is? Dust, your dead skin, dust mites, and dust mite fecal matter. Can you ever get rid of all of it? No. But that's one of the reasons in our previous of the video telling people how to initial operation of this, we say take this and put it in there on your bed. Pull all the sheets and covers off. Take that top sheet and just make a little tent over this thing so the air will flow through the back. Hit that away mode. Go out, close the door of that room, and let it run. The longer you let it run, the more it's going to break down that dead skin. And the more of that dead skin that you break down, the less food supply for dust mites, the less dust mites, the less dust mite fecal matter. It's that simple. You'll never get rid of all of it because you're always putting more food into their feeding chamber, which happens to be your mattress. With that, that's enough about, but that's why we have this technology. Why is coronavirus a problem? We do not have a coronavirus problem, folks. We have an indoor air quality problem. And it's because viruses, bacteria, mold, and mildew have no natural transportation. When they talk about someone walking along who's asymptomatic and they're sloughing off coronavirus into the air, or they're respirating it into the air, that virus just goes out there and it attaches itself to one of those floating dead skin cells. And that's where it stays. In fact, they say it stays there for up to 30 minutes. I'm telling you, it can stay there a lot longer. And it's waiting for you to walk by and go, breathe it in. That's what it's waiting for. And if you think a little painter's mask is going to protect you, it's not. Because that bacteria goes right through that mask. Surgeons don't wear masks to protect them from bacteria. They wear a mask to protect their operating area from their breath, their drool, anything that they could slough off or respirate. It's to protect that person, not the surgeon. Anyway, with that, I tell you all that as part of why you need this running in your home. So step one, your electrostatic type filter. The next is your charcoal impregnated foam. That's designed that this charges the particles to get them bigger. This catches them. And then the final piece is the honeycomb, this piece right here. And it's charcoal activated, and that catches the final VOCs and absorbs them into the charcoal. All of these are easily cleaned. Now, your honeycomb, if you pick up some extra dust and stuff in here, you can simply take a can of compressed air, spray that out first, both sides. You get the dust off, spray it with your orange champ. You don't need to scrub it. Wash it off, put it back together. All of these are designed to be revenue-producing, exchangeable parts of this unit. So probably about at least every 3 to 5 years, depending on the environment, they would want to replace this internal parts of this filter. That becomes a revenue stream for those of you that are looking at this as a business. Once those are dried, you simply put it back together. Remember, honeycomb goes in first. Sponge pad goes in second. Tight mesh electrostatic part goes in last. Then you simply take your cover, pop that back on, and you're ready to put it back on. Now, Rule number one, all parts have to be completely dry before you reassemble them. All parts. Now, next is our plate-driven energized oxygen technology. This is proven technology that's been around for a while. We've just created a medium of the plate that makes it more effective and makes the plate last longer. But plates have a life. Anywhere from 3 to 5 years, you'd want to replace this plate. Now, this plate simply slides out. And how this plate works, it has a stainless steel mesh that's separated by a ceramic plate. High voltage is put onto both sides on this mesh. That creates a potential, and that creates an energized charge, and that's what energizes that oxygen and gives it that energy effect. That energy is then sucked through this machine by the fan, and that's combined with our photocatalytic ionization cell, and we'll talk about that next. Now, how do you clean the plate? Very simple. You can use, if you read your book, it talks about a 50-50 mix of water or alcohol, but I've started using them with the Orange Champ. It doesn't seem to leave a residue. One of the issues with using any soap or detergent base like Grease Lightning or some of the others, it tended to leave a film on the plate that you couldn't get off, and it reduced the life of the plate. I've been using this now for, probably 60 days. I've cleaned a lot of plates, and it does not seem like it leaves a film. Now, if for some reason I start deciding it does, I'll let you know. We'll go back to ammonia. But this, I tell you, this is the best stuff I have found. It just melts the grease and the dust off. So you spray it, and then use a stiff brush if it seems to be fairly dirty, and you just scrub across that grid, both sides, rinse it with clean cold water, and set it aside and let it dry. This has to be totally dry before you put it back in the unit and operate it. If not, you'll short your unit out. Can you expedite drying with the hair dryer? Yes, you can. If you want to do that, I'll show you a much simpler way to expedite it here by the time we're through. All right, now the heart of the technology, that is our little Honeycomb photocatalytic cell. The only maintenance you do on this, it has 2 little thumb screws. You simply take those off. And slide that out. And as you can see, it's a honeycomb. This has a very special precious metal paint that these are painted with. It has a spectrum of UV light that energizes and radiates onto that honeycomb, and that creates this plasma of these charged particles that are drawn out into the environment. And when you energize the energized oxygen technology, that energized oxygen acts as a catalysis with that charge that's coming out from the photocatalytic, and that creates that plasma that is shot out into the room that energizes the air. We do electronically what the sunlight does when it shines down through the environment. We energize air. When you energize air, it starts trying to bring itself back to, creation starts trying to bring itself back to Eden. And what do you mean by that? Creation is always trying to bring itself back to its natural state. Outdoors is always trying to create clean, healthy, fresh air. That's what we do electronically indoors. Now, to remove this, there's just a little squeeze connector here. You squeeze both sides. It disconnects from the electrical connection. You can take the whole thing out, and the only thing you do to clean this is simply spray compressed air through it. Do not wash this. Do not put water in it. That's all you do to clean this. Unless you've let this go for a really long time and really degraded your filter, you're not going to have much in this. The only thing about the photocatalytic cell, this comes with about a 12 to 14 month life cell. So about every 12 to 14 months, if you want to just replace it with the basic cell it comes with, you need to replace this cell, because what happens, the special UV light inside slowly degrades in brightness. And over time, the cell, this paint, slowly gets used up. You'll see it slowly change colors. It'll still be putting out, just not at that maximum level. Now, we also make a 3-year and a 5-year cell that someone, if they decide, well, look, I don't just have the 5-year cell, so I only have to change it every 5 years. It costs a little bit more, but you can replace these with a longer-term cell, so keep that in mind. So just blow this out, then all you do is set it back in, put your little thumb screws back in, and I'm not going to tighten them all the way down for time's sake. Make sure you hook your electrical connector back up because I can't tell you how many times I put one back together, turn it on, and the light doesn't come on. Now I go, oh, then you have to take it back apart so make sure you hook your electrical connector back up. That's all you do. Once your plate's dry, there's 2 little slots that just fits in, slides in, and it stops. You can't push it in too far. And then finally, your electrostatic filter, you simply match the slot up, put it back on, stick your screws back in. Now, here's another little tool. It's called our harsh environment pad pre-filter. These things are excellent. They're charcoal impregnated. It uses a special mesh. You can simply set that over this filter. When you put your back on, it just holds it in place. And this reduces the maintenance by probably 50%. And when you order these, 12 of them come in a pack. So all you do, I recommend every time if you just buy one yourself, order a pack of these. If you are representing these and telling other people about it, always suggest they get the harsh environment pads, because it drastically reduces the wear on the product and reduces the amount of maintenance you have to do. You simply put that on, and then when you put the back on, I'm not going to put the screws in now for time's sake. You just match up the little plastic slots, pop this back in, push on the bottom, and it locks it back in. The original ones that I had of this unit, they were a pain in the caboose, let me tell you. So we've really simplified the maintenance to make it as simple as possible so people can maintain their unit. But I'm going to tell you, from a business standpoint, there's a lot of people just don't want to maintain them. They'd rather you come pick this unit up every 1 to 3 years. They'd rather pay $120. That's what we charge. I have regular customers that about every year to 3 years, I'll call them or email them. I go pick their unit up, and it's nasty inside, but we clean it totally out, put a new plate, put a new cell in it, and they're happy with that. So it creates a revenue stream. Now, not everybody is hands-on. Not everybody wants to do that, and you don't have to. But that's something we've been doing for 20-odd years. So we've always created maintenance and some little repairs. A lot of businesses would rather have you come by and maintain these rather than them doing it or have an employee do it. All right, I'm going to flip it around so we wrap up here. The final thing is the front of the unit. And once again, they've really made this simple. There's only 2 screws. I've already taken one out just for time's sake. These are little Phillips head screws. They have a little compression fitting that holds them so you don't lose the screws. You don't have to take them all the way out, but you just loosen those 2 screws, and this just lays back, and once again has the 2 little plastic tabs, so when you put it back, it just sets on there. Now, what you do here, same thing as the back, you simply spray it with the orange champ. If it's really dirty, you take your brush, clean it, set it aside to dry. Now, a couple of things you need to know about your front. Generally, all you'll do, and once you have everything out, when it's opened up, that's when I take my compressed air and I spray it out on the front and back. Take a clean cloth, wipe off anything. Now, Another technology on the front, right up here at the top, there is a needle point negative ionizer point. They call it a needle point for a reason. It's sharp and it's a needle point. So be careful when you're dealing with this, and when you're wiping it, understand there's a needle right there. So don't jab yourself with it. But what you want to do is you want to just wipe off the tip of that needle point ionizer. They get a little crud built up because it creates an energy right there. So you just wipe that off, keep it clean, wipe off the front of the unit, and then finally, for ease of cleaning, you just take this fan blade, put your fingers behind it, and it pops right off. Now, what I recommend you do, I take just a little drop of either olive oil or 3-in-1 oil, and I just wipe a little film on there to keep it nice and clean and smooth, and it makes it very easy to put the fan back on. Now, the fan has a smooth side and a compression side. This compression side goes to the front. The smooth side goes to the back. It's kind of reverse of what you would think it would be, but that's the way this fan has been made. Makes it easy to clean the fan. You can wash it off and simply put your fan blade back on, and it should be even with the end of the shaft. Is where it should be. And that centers it in this circle right here, because that circle is what creates the vortex to pull that air through the machine and pick up from the photocatalytic and the energized oxygen, blast that out into the room, and the needle point ionizer covers the main area where you have this product. It shoots a line straight out of negative ions, and it's extremely effective for removing smoke, odors, particulate. So when you set this up in someone's home, the first couple of days, they may give you a call and say, "Hey, Bill, is this thing creating dust?" Say, "No, it's just taking that dust that was in your air and it's getting out of your air." And what you'll find, if, you know, when I say this, men go, "Well, I don't ever dust." And I say, "No, but ask your wife about it." A couple of things you can do when you're letting someone try it. They have a glass coffee table or just a black, anything, wipe it clean. Get the dust off from it. Say, "Now I want you to watch and see if dust doesn't build up really quick when we turn this on. It's because we're taking stuff out of your air that you were breathing before." And it's a good way to show them how this aggregates particulate and gets it out of their air. So once again, just wipe the thing down. And the beauty of the Orange Champ, you can use it on the aluminum framework. It does not discolor it, so it's a great little cleaner. And then once everything is dry, you simply put it all back together, only 3 screws, 2 screws if you're not putting the back one in, and that's all it takes to maintain it. Now, an easy way to do it, and especially if you're servicing units outside of your homes, let's say going to businesses or someone's home, I just have little kits like this, and it has a filter, it has a plate, and a harsh environment pad. So I carry this in with me. When I take their stuff, their dirty stuff off their unit, I already have clean, dry stuff ready to go back on it. And I take their dirty stuff, put it in the bag so I don't get dust and all in my car. I'll bring it home, wash it. Once it's dry, put it back in the bag. It's ready to go again. So basically, to maintain your unit, just a rag, brush, Orange Champ, Phillips head screwdriver. That's all it takes. And this, I drew it out to really show you how to do it. But this whole process, if you do it on a regular basis, is less than a 10, 12-minute job. And especially if you already have dry replacement parts, you just take the dirty stuff off, put the clean stuff in, put it back on, turn it on, and then you clean the other stuff at your leisure. Otherwise, you do have to wait for it to dry completely before you put it back together. So that's the maintenance on the PureAir 3000. I do recommend, if you have not watched the proper usage of the PureAir 3000, email me and I'll send you the link for that. If you do not have the 3 support pieces, I'll also send you those as a PDF document. So these are great pieces. It's really all you need to tell people about the PureAir 3000. And if you're if you're ordering one for yourself, be sure and order a pack of the harsh environment free filters. They sure make maintenance a lot easier. With that, I've covered everything about as quick as I can. We're just a few minutes over. I'm going to stop our recording